Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tell Me Why, the program for American Airlines team members that looks at the why behind the news, information, everything that happens, especially around the holiday season here at American Airlines. My name is Ron DeFeo, working the Global Engagement Group, and excited to have Moroni, VP Ops Planning and Performance, back on set. Ann, how are you?
I'm great. All right. Thanks for having me.
You were a guest last summer. I told you we'd get you back on. Took a little longer than I thought, but thanks for coming back. And the timing is right.
It's perfect.
Holidays are around the corner. Last week on Newsroom and on JetNet, we put out a bunch of statistics and good stuff. We'll talk about them in a minute about our Thanksgiving travel, which of course is right around the corner. And more on that in a minute when we get there. But generally speaking on the operation, and we've been talking about it for a long time, operational renaissance. We are running the best operation in our airline's history. Full stop. But go a little bit deeper on this. Talk about specifically what's going on, why you feel so good about everything.
Yeah, I will be glad. I will gladly do so. Look, we've been running a phenomenal operation for the last, over the better part of the last year, really. And this past summer was just phenomenal. And I know everyone here is so proud of the phenomenal operation we delivered. So specifically, we had a best ever completion factor, and it's to say a lot. It takes a village to make sure that we complete all of the flights, and we've outperformed our competition in on-time departures, which is also a great place to be in. So
that's awesome.
But look, one of the things, too, that we wanted to call out is we continue to do better on metrics that we know have been a weakness for us historically. And one of our, we just closed the month of October with our best ever October in MBR. Okay. And so the streak continues. So we're not going to stop there, though. That's what ops excellence is. So we're always finding ways to do better. And so I know the team's focused on continuing to improve on this phenomenal performance.
And, of course, one thing that makes this industry great, the next day is a new day. And speaking of a new day, we're back at it. Another peak right here around the corner. Thanksgiving. Like I said, we put information out in the newsroom just what's to come. North of 7.8 million customers, 500,000 more than last year over that Thanksgiving timetable. But we're ready.
Yes.
Tell me why you feel we're really ready for the holiday this year.
We're definitely ready. And look, it's going to be busy, and we're excited about this. Look, specifically, I want to call out Sunday and Monday after Thanksgiving are usually our biggest, busiest days of the year, and this year's not going to be any exception to that. In fact, we're happy to have Flex Banks come back.
Oh, wow.
So for those of you who don't know what Flex Banks are, it's this extra set of a mini bank at the end of the operating day after midnight into the wee hours of the morning. We used to do those pre-COVID,
yep.
And so we're really excited to bring those back in Charlotte for Thanksgiving and in Charlotte and Phoenix for Christmas period.
Oh, wow.
So the teams are really, really excited about those, I know, and getting ready for them. Dallas and Charlotte are also going to have their biggest ever international schedule. Okay. So that's also a really, really good time. And look, I think generally speaking, we feel strongly about where we are because we have a strong operational foundation and because we've learned a lot from the summer. So we spent some time this summer dealing with extreme weather, and we've learned from it, and we're ready for the winter in that same fashion. So a year ago, if you remember, we had Winter Storm Elliott over the December holiday, and we managed that storm extremely well, so huge credit to the IOC. And so the recovery focus is still there at the IOC, getting ready for de-icing across all stations. Nothing's changed there. And then, of course, the team is what's going to make this work. So I'll take a moment to thank the team for in advance for spending some time away from their friends and family and to take care of our customer over the holidays, because that's really what's going to make the airline work smoothly. No, so thanks to everyone.
For sure. And you touched on, of course, what David Seymour, our Chief Operating Officer, talks about over and over again, right? Planning, executing, recovery.
Yeah.
And, speaking of planning, I know we're talking most of this about Thanksgiving and, into the Christmas holidays, but summer 24. I mean, we're already starting to plan for next year.
Yes, we are.
And it's always a year ahead of time because it is that much of a Super Bowl for us. What did we learn from this summer?
Yeah.
As we kind of look forward into 2024 already?
Well, look, one of the focus area we had this summer was around supportability. So ensuring we had the right staffing in the right place at the right time. And it's clearly paid off. It's paid off across all of the work groups. And so we're not losing our focus on this. In particular, with the pilot contract effectively ratified and behind us, we feel very strongly that we know exactly where we're headed. There's less volatility in the forecast for this. But we want to make sure that we have the people where we need them to be. And I think the other big thing we learned this summer was on the fleet side, aircraft readiness. Yeah. So we have the right spares plan for next year, similar to what we had done this past year. But the tech ops team is really, really focused on increasing our reliability effort in advance of next summer. One of the key things, I mentioned kind of extreme weather readiness and the work the IOC is doing on storms and de-icing. But it also, extreme weather affects the fleet. Mm-hmm. And last summer, we saw record heat, which drove a lot of heat-related event out of service. And so I know that Mark Miner and Stacey Morrison and Evie are all getting ready for a repeat of that next summer, mm-hmm. and just making sure that we're better prepared, that our teams are ready to tackle this increase in volume and heat. Or similarly, our CRE team is helping with infrastructure. How do we keep the jet bridges and the aircraft cool in the summer? So all of that is in progress and is being built in budget and staffing and capital plans.
Wow, that's incredible. And the last question, we'll close with this. I mean, we are talking a lot around here about really developing that technology-first mindset. So a lot of new tools and technology into the everyday work that we're doing. What's going on out there? What are we seeing, and what do you like about that?
So we've had some really great successes with technology and operations this year, and we measure that very carefully. Okay, so the intent here is not just to roll technology for the sake of giving people new tools and new gadgets. It's really to serve a specific reliability need. Mm-hmm. And so we talked quite a bit about smart gating and how it helps us in terms of customer connections and saving precious time on the ground. But there's been a lot of technology deliveries around the way that we manage to weather and IROPS in particular with heat that allowed us to actually keep the crews going, keep the aircraft going, and complete flights. And that's a key driver of our record completion factor this summer. On the crew recovery side, mm-hmm. we've been able to just repair things when they break a heck of a lot faster. And that's so important for the quality of life of our crew members and obviously to continue to keep the operation running. In the airport technology team has done phenomenal at helping improve turn performance this past summer. We've been very focused on the boarding process and managing through record passenger volumes. Mm-hmm. So technologies like Gate Agent Assist, who help automate some of the boarding tasks that our customer care agents have, as well as Connect Me for flight attendant, which has been a big success because it really helps flight attendants and customer care agent talk to each other in the last phases of closing the flight. And that's really what ensures an on-time departure. So we saw this summer this technology translate into best ever start of boarding metric, best ever end of boarding metric, again, on record load factors. So it's been just hugely successful. So that's what we've done this year, but it's really giving us the right approach, the right framework for what we want to go do next. And so what you'll see more in operations for 2024 are investments in digitization. And what that means is we still do a lot of things manually across our operation.
Sure.
So electronic logbook is coming up, and that's a game changer for our flight group and our tech ops team. And we fully expect that it will allow us to save some delays on the turn. And then we're going to spend a lot of time continuing to work with the IOC on network optimization solutions. So how do we solve for this gigantic airline of ours faster, better, maybe more efficiently as well, so we protect our resources?
Incredible. I mean, this is like a supersized edition. I mean, there's so much going on here. I mean, I'll say what I did last year. We're going to have you back next year to continue this conversation. There's so much going on. Really incredible. Obviously talking about next summer, but of course, Thanksgiving is right upon us. Like we said, we have a ton of information out there on JetNet, on our newsroom. Please do check it out. And as a reminder, this is Tell Me Why. You know where we live. We're on JetNet. We're also wherever you pick up your podcasts out there on the various podcast platforms. Couple more episodes this year. If you have things you want to hear about, learn about, know about, please do drop us a line on JetNet. We will look to get that to you. But also, we're starting to take ideas for topics for 2024. The next season is right around the corner. Ann, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We'll see you on the next episode of Tell Me Why.